In the heart of Dubai, the city of endless luxury and dazzling power, Ahmed Al-Farid stands at the pinnacle of success. As CEO of the Middle East's most influential conglomerate, his life is the epitome of wealth, towering skyscrapers, private jets, and a world of opulence at his fingertips. From the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse office, the city sprawls before him like a glittering jewel. But despite the glittering world outside, an ache pulses deep within him, a yearning he can't name. Everything he's ever wanted is within reach, yet something is missing, something he's long buried beneath the layers of wealth and status. Little does he know that one chance encounter will soon unravel the world he's carefully crafted, thrusting him into an unexpected collision with a woman from a world far removed from his own, a woman who will challenge everything he's ever believed. And so begins a journey that will blur the lines between love, power, and the cost of keeping secrets. As the clock ticks on, Ahmed is interrupted by a soft knock on the door. His secretary steps in, her face almost apologetic. "Sir, there's a woman in the lobby, asking for a job. She doesn't have an appointment, but she's very insistent. She says she'll take any position to change her life." Ahmed sighs, barely paying attention. He's used to people desperate for opportunities, and he doesn't have time for unsolicited visits. But then, his curiosity piques. He nods to his assistant. "Send her in," he says. A few moments later, the door opens, and in steps Zara. She's strikingly different from the women Ahmed is accustomed to. Dressed in humble, worn clothes, her face a picture of quiet strength. She doesn't look intimidated by the lavish surroundings. Instead, there's a quiet determination in her eyes as she stands in front of him, her nerves barely showing. Ahmed observes her, his sharp eyes scanning every detail. Zara stands confidently before him, despite her apparent discomfort. She is nothing like the polished, flawless women he usually meets. There's an authenticity in her presence, something he hasn't seen in a long time. She's not afraid of him, nor of his world. Zara speaks up, her voice steady but filled with quiet passion. "My name is Zara, I'm from a small village in Africa. I've come to Dubai to change my life. I'll take anything, whatever position you have available. I just need a chance." Ahmed leans back in his chair, intrigued. He hadn't expected someone like her, someone with so much determination but so little to offer in terms of qualifications. Yet there's something compelling about her, something that draws him in. As they talk, he learns that Zara left her village to find a better life for her family. She's been working odd jobs just to survive, but her determination to escape poverty shines through every word she speaks. Ahmed finds himself captivated by her resilience. As Zara speaks, Ahmed is taken aback by her story. She talks about the hardships she faced back home, how she had to leave everything behind to escape a life of poverty and uncertainty. She shares stories of her family's struggles, the sacrifices her parents made, and how, despite everything, she still holds on to hope. Zara's words are simple, but they are powerful, filled with a strength that cannot be ignored. Ahmed feels a stirring inside him, something he hasn't felt in a long time. His life has been one of luxury and privilege, but Zara's story makes him reflect on his own privileges. For a moment, he wonders if he's been taking it all for granted. There's something about Zara that moves him, but at the same time, there's a deep uncertainty. Can someone like her, someone from a completely different world, fit into the life he's created? As days pass, Zara becomes a part of the team at Ahmed's company. She's given a basic position, answering phones and handling paperwork, but she never complains. In fact, she embraces the work with a level of dedication that impresses everyone, including Ahmed. Slowly, they begin to interact more, and a subtle but undeniable attraction begins to form between them. However, both of them are hesitant. Zara, wary of being seen as just another woman trying to climb the social ladder, keeps her distance. Ahmed, on the other hand, is struggling with the divide between his world of wealth and status and the raw, unpolished reality that Zara represents. He can't help but feel drawn to her, but he's terrified of what that means for both of them. Despite their differences, Zara and Ahmed begin to spend more time together. Their interactions are brief at first, small talk in the office hallways or occasional lunch breaks, but it's enough to allow them to see another side of each other. Zara reveals her love for literature, her dreams of building a better future for her family, and the joy she finds in the simplest moments of life. Ahmed, in turn, opens up about his struggles with his family's expectations and the pressure to uphold the family legacy. Each conversation chips away at the walls they've built around themselves, revealing vulnerability and raw emotion. For the first time in a long while, Ahmed feels like he's connecting with someone who doesn't want anything from him other than honesty and understanding. One day, Zara is invited to an exclusive corporate event, a gala held at one of the most luxurious hotels in Dubai. She's out of place at first, overwhelmed by the grandeur and opulence. But when she looks around and sees Ahmed across the room, she feels a sense of reassurance. His presence, calm and confident, anchors her. For the first time in this new world, Zara feels like she belongs, even if only for a night. The evening is filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and endless conversations about business deals and power. But as Zara stands by the balcony, looking out at the city lights, she can't shake the feeling that this world isn't hers, no matter how much she wishes it could be. As Zara navigates the dazzling world of the wealthy elite, she is faced with challenges she never anticipated. The luxury is overwhelming, but it's the attitudes of some of the people in Ahmed's circle that leave her feeling more isolated than ever. Some of the women sneer at her, not understanding why someone like Ahmed would associate with someone like her. They question her motives, making Zara wonder if she truly belongs in this world. But Ahmed is always there to reassure her. He notices her discomfort and pulls her aside at the event, guiding her through the intricate social dynamics with a gentle touch. They talk briefly, just enough for her to feel a little more at ease. However, his closeness starts to stir feelings in her that she's not ready to confront. Zara is torn between her rising emotions and her fear of being seen as a gold digger in a world where wealth is a status symbol. As the night progresses, the whispers and sidelong glances from the other guests seem to follow Zara wherever she goes. She can feel the weight of their judgments, their eyes scanning her every move. But Ahmed, ever the protector, shields her from their harsh gazes. He introduces her to a few colleagues, trying to integrate her into the world that feels so foreign to her. Zara puts on a brave face, but deep down, she feels like she's losing herself in a world that doesn't belong to her. The turning point comes when one of Ahmed's closest business associates, a man named Rami, makes an offhand comment. He glances at Zara and says to Ahmed with a mocking grin, "A bit of an odd choice, don't you think? You could have anyone, yet you bring her here?" The words sting, and Zara's heart drops. She wants to disappear, to run far away from this judgmental world. But Ahmed, with a coolness that surprises her, responds, "She's not just anyone. And she's more than enough for me." Zara's breath catches in her throat. For a moment, it feels like time stops, and all the noise in the room fades away. Ahmed's words echo in her mind, but uncertainty still lingers. Is he saying this because he feels sorry for her, or is there something deeper? Zara forces a smile, trying to shake off the discomfort. She's here for a reason. She wants to prove to herself that she can succeed. But every word, every look, keeps pulling her back to her fears. Can she ever truly belong in a world so different from her own? The days following the event are filled with uncertainty for Zara. She can't shake the feeling that she's an outsider, no matter how much Ahmed reassures her. The contrast between their worlds is too stark to ignore, and though he tells her to ignore the whispers, Zara can't help but feel the weight of judgment. One afternoon, Ahmed invites her to a meeting in his private office. He's been unusually distant lately, consumed by work and his family's increasing pressure for him to marry within their own circle. Zara is starting to wonder if the glittering life of wealth is really for her, whether the cost of being with someone like Ahmed is worth it. Zara takes a deep breath as she enters the office, her nerves tingling with the anticipation of their conversation. She knows that things cannot stay the same. She can no longer ignore the creeping fear that, no matter how much she's changed, no matter how much she's adapted to his world, she will always be seen as different. Ahmed looks up from his desk as she enters, his face softening the moment their eyes meet. But there's an underlying sense of urgency in his movements. He stands and walks toward her, his usual calm demeanor replaced with something more intense. "I've been thinking," he begins, his voice more serious than she's ever heard it. "About us." Zara's heart races. What is he going to say? He continues, "I can't pretend that the pressures I face, my family's expectations, the business, everything, aren't weighing on me. But I've realized something important. I can't keep pretending that I'm not affected by you." Zara watches as Ahmed's expression changes the moment he answers the phone. His usual calm demeanor is replaced by tension, his jaw tightening as he listens intently. Zara feels a wave of unease wash over her. She's seen this before, this invisible wall that goes up when family obligations take precedence. She can't hear what's being said on the other end of the line, but the look on his face is enough. It's a mix of frustration, duty, and something Zara can't quite place. A few moments pass, and Ahmed ends the call with a soft sigh, running a hand through his hair. His eyes meet Zara's, but there's a distance between them now, something that wasn't there just moments ago. I have to go, he says quietly, his voice heavy with regret. Family business. Zara nods, a lump forming in her throat. She knows the drill by now, the obligations, the expectations. But there's a growing sense of disappointment inside her. The man she's starting to care for is constantly pulled away by the very world that she can never fully be a part of. Zara forces a smile, trying to mask the disappointment she feels. Of course, I understand, but inside, she feels the walls closing in around her. She's starting to realize that no matter how much she changes, no matter how much she adapts to his world, there will always be this divide between them. His family, his business, these are the things that will always come first. Ahmed steps closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. Zara, He pauses, seeming to wrestle with his words. I don't know what's going to happen between us, but I want you to know that you mean something to me. The sincerity in his eyes hits Zara like a wave. She wants to believe him, wants to trust that this is real, but the fear of being hurt holds her back. I'll be back later, Ahmed adds, his voice softer now. I'll explain everything. Zara nods again, though her heart feels heavy. She doesn't want to be just another part of his complicated life, another piece of his world that he can't fully give himself to. As he walks out of the office, Zara stands there alone, the weight of his absence settling heavily on her shoulders. She looks out the window, her thoughts racing. Zara blinks in surprise as the door swings open to reveal a woman standing in the hallway. Her presence is immediate, her eyes sharp and calculating. It's Layla, Ahmed's ex-fiancée, the one his family had always expected him to marry. The woman from his past who had never truly let go of him. Zara freezes, unsure of how to react. Layla's gaze scans her up and down, a faint smirk playing at the corners of her lips. There's no warmth in her eyes, just cold calculation. I'm looking for Ahmed, Layla says, her voice smooth, almost too polite. Is he here? Zara takes a deep breath, forcing herself to stay composed. He left, she replies, her voice steady, though her heart is pounding. He's in a meeting. Layla doesn't seem satisfied with the answer. She steps forward, leaning slightly into the room, her gaze narrowing. You know, I never thought I'd see the day when Ahmed would bring someone like you into his world, she says, her words dripping with subtle disdain. Zara's heart races, but she doesn't let Layla's words show on her face. She's heard of Layla, always the poised, perfect woman who had once been the center of Ahmed's life. The woman who had never quite let go, even when their engagement had ended. Now here she was, standing in the office of the man Zara had started to care for, as though she had every right to be there. Layla steps into the room without waiting for an invitation, her eyes scanning the luxurious surroundings. I hope you understand that this is just a phase for Ahmed, she says, her voice laced with superiority. He has obligations, to his family, to his future. She turns to Zara, her gaze piercing. You're nothing but a distraction. Zara feels the sting of Layla's words, but she refuses to let them break her. She's learned long ago to deal with judgment, to live in a world where she's constantly seen as less than, just because of where she comes from. But this is different. It's personal. You're wrong, Zara finally says, her voice low but firm. You don't know anything about me. Layla tilts her head slightly, as if considering Zara's words. Then, with a sly smile, she steps even closer. I know enough, she says softly. Enough to understand that someone like you will never fit into Ahmed's world. And deep down, you know it too. As Layla exits the room, the silence that fills the office is thick and suffocating. Ahmed stands in the doorway for a moment, watching her leave, before turning slowly to face Zara. His expression is a mix of guilt and something else she can't quite place, regret, maybe? But it's quickly replaced by a more familiar, distant mask as he steps into the room and closes the door behind him. Zara doesn't speak right away. She doesn't know what to say. Layla's words echo in her mind, and despite her best efforts to push them away, they settle deep within her chest. You will never fit into his world. Ahmed stands across the room, hands shoved in his pockets, looking at the floor, clearly unsure of how to begin. He opens his mouth several times, but no words come out. Finally, he takes a deep breath and looks up at her. I didn't expect that to happen, he says quietly, his voice uncharacteristically strained. I thought I was done with that part of my life. Zara's heart aches at the sincerity in his voice, but the wound of what Layla said is still fresh. She finally meets his eyes, her voice low but steady. You don't have to explain yourself. I get it, she's your past, and I'm. She pauses, unsure how to finish the sentence. You're not just a distraction, Zara, Ahmed interrupts, his tone more forceful now, as though trying to convince himself as much as her. You mean something to me. But everything, my family, my business, it's a lot. And I never wanted you to feel like this was just some game. Zara swallows hard, her emotions swirling within her. She wants to believe him. She wants to believe that everything he's told her, everything they've shared, is real. But the more she thinks about it, the more she feels like a fool. How could she ever truly belong in his world? Zara takes a deep breath, her mind racing. I've never asked you to explain, Ahmed. But if we're going to do this, whatever this is, I need you to understand something. I'm not like Layla. I'm not like anyone you've known. Ahmed steps forward, his expression softening. I know that, Zara. I see that, and that's why I. But do you really? She cuts him off, her voice rising, the frustration bubbling up to the surface. Because every time she's here, every time your family calls, you go running back to them. And I get it. I do. You can't escape who you are. But I can't keep pretending that I don't feel like an outsider. Her words hit him hard. He stands there for a moment, speechless, before slowly walking toward her. His hand reaches out to touch her arm, but she pulls away, not wanting to let him in just yet. Zara turns slowly, her gaze locking onto Ahmed as he glances at the phone in his hand. The ringtone seems to echo in the silence, the sound of his mother calling, a reminder of the pressure that's always looming over him. He hesitates for a moment, then sighs heavily. I should answer this, he says, his voice weary. But I'll make it quick. Zara watches as he steps away, raising the phone to his ear. She can hear him greeting his mother, but it's clear that his mind is elsewhere. The warmth that had once filled the room with hope now feels distant, replaced by a palpable tension. She knows what's coming. She knows that once this call is over, he will retreat back into the life that she can never truly be a part of. She stands at the window, staring out at the city, the lights below offering no comfort. Her reflection in the glass is almost like a stranger to her, as Ahmed talks to his mother. Zara's thoughts each of them pulling her in different directions. What am I even doing here? She wonders. She came to this city looking for a better life, thinking it would be the escape from the poverty and struggles she had known her entire life. But the more she gets involved in Ahmed's world, the more she realizes that it's not a world she can ever belong to. Not in the way she had imagined. She hears him end the call, and her heart sinks. He's back. The moment they shared before, his admission, his vulnerability, seems distant now, as though it were just a fleeting dream. I'm sorry about that, Ahmed says softly, his voice a mixture of exhaustion and guilt. My mother insists on reminding me of my responsibilities, every chance she gets. Zara nods, her eyes not meeting his. She knows the drill by now. The endless calls, the constant reminders of what he's expected to do. She knows he has his obligations, but she's starting to wonder if those obligations are all that will ever matter in his life. I understand, she says, though the words feel hollow. She doesn't understand, not completely. The silence between them stretches, heavy and thick. It's as if something important has shifted, something unspoken but deeply felt. Zara knows she can't continue like this, living in this state of constant uncertainty, caught between the man she's starting to love and the life he can never fully share with her. I think we need to talk about where we stand, Ahmed, Zara says, her voice calm but resolute. I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. We're just too different. Ahmed takes a step toward her, his expression softening. Zara, don't say that. We've only just started. I'm trying, I really am. Zara turns to face him, her eyes searching his face for any sign of truth. Are you? She asks softly. Are you really trying, or are you just trying to make this work because it's easier than facing what you know deep down? Ahmed freezes, his eyes widening slightly. What do you mean? Zara takes a step back, the distance between them widening once again. I mean, she begins, her voice trembling, that I'm not the kind of woman you can just hide away in your office. I can't stay in the background, waiting for you to have a moment for me between family calls and meetings. I deserve more than that. Ahmed takes a deep breath, running a hand through his hair. His eyes are filled with a mixture of frustration and something else, something that might just be desperation. Zara, he says, his voice strained, I don't know what you want from me. I'm doing the best I can, but this isn't easy. It's not easy for me either. Zara meets his gaze, her heart breaking. I don't want to be second place, Ahmed. Not to your family, not to your world. If you can't give me that, then maybe this isn't something I can keep fighting for. Ahmed takes a step toward her, his eyes dark with emotion. "Don't say that," he whispers urgently. "Please don't walk away from this." Zara looks away, a single tear escaping despite her best efforts to hold it in. "I'm sorry, but I can't keep waiting for something that will never be mine." Just as she turns to leave, there's a sharp knock on the door. Both of them freeze. The sound seems to shatter the fragile moment between them, and they both look at the door, uncertainty hanging in the air. The door opens slowly, and in walks a man Zara has never seen before. His presence is commanding, and he looks directly at Ahmed, his eyes hard. "Ahmed," the man says, his tone cold. "We need to talk, now." Zara stands frozen in place as the man steps into the room, his presence filling the space with an undeniable sense of authority. His sharp suit and the confident way he holds himself make it clear that this is no ordinary visitor. Ahmed looks taken aback, his face tightening as he meets the man's gaze. There's a flicker of recognition in his eyes, but also a tension, something that suggests that this meeting wasn't expected. The man doesn't wait for an invitation to speak. He strides toward Ahmed, his voice low and steady, but full of intent. "We need to settle this, once and for all." Zara feels a chill run down her spine as she watches the exchange. Who is this man, and why does his presence make the air between her and Ahmed feel even heavier? Ahmed steps forward, his posture tense, but his voice betrays his frustration. "I told you, not now, Tariq. This is not the time." Tariq's eyes shift to Zara, scanning her with a glance that feels almost dismissive, but there's a calculated coolness to it. "If this is your new distraction, then we need to discuss it now." Zara's heart sinks at the word distraction. She can't help the bitterness that rises in her throat. She's not just a distraction. She's been here, living through the uncertainty, through the emotional roller coaster that Ahmed himself had never fully acknowledged. She's been trying to make this work, but now she's nothing more than an afterthought in this man's world. Tariq turns back to Ahmed, ignoring her completely, as if she doesn't even exist. "Your family is waiting for you. The merger doesn't wait for love interests, Ahmed. You have a duty to us, your duty to the company, to your future." Zara takes a deep breath, her hand clenched tightly at her side, her mind racing. She's never felt more like an outsider in this room than she does right now. The man's words are like a cold slap in the face. The merger doesn't wait for love interests, and Zara realizes that no matter how much Ahmed says he wants something real with her, his world doesn't have space for someone like her. Zara can feel her chest tightening as she watches them. How easily Ahmed is slipping back into his role, how effortlessly he's letting Tariq dictate the terms of his life. This isn't the man she thought she was getting to know. This isn't the man who told her he was falling for her. Zara opens her mouth to say something, but the words catch in her throat. She realizes that it's not her place to interfere in this world that's never really been hers to begin with. Before she can turn to leave, Ahmed speaks, his voice thick with frustration. "Enough, Tariq. I've made my decisions. I'm not going back." Tariq's eyes flash with a mixture of anger and disbelief. He doesn't seem to understand why Ahmed is pushing back against the very life that's been mapped out for him. "You can't just walk away from your family, Ahmed. You know what's at stake here." Ahmed's jaw tightens, and Zara can see the inner conflict playing out on his face. This is it, she thinks. This is where everything falls apart. Tariq takes a step closer, his tone now more forceful. "Your legacy is at risk. You're risking everything for a woman who has no place in this world." Zara flinches at the words. The sting of them cuts deeper than she wants to admit, but it's true, she's not meant to fit in this world. And no matter how much Ahmed insists otherwise, the truth remains. She's just a woman from a poor village, thrust into a world of wealth and power that she'll never truly understand. The tension in the room is suffocating, the air thick with the unspoken truth that Zara can no longer ignore. She's standing at the edge of something she can't quite define, something that feels like the end, not just of the conversation, but of everything she's hoped for with Ahmed. Just as Ahmed opens his mouth to respond to Tariq, a voice calls from the hallway, interrupting them both. "Ahmed," the voice says, calm yet insistent. "It's time." Zara looks at him one last time, her heart aching. She's been trying to fit herself into a world that wasn't built for her. And in this moment, she realizes that she can't keep chasing something that will always be just out of reach. Before she can say anything, Ahmed's phone buzzes again. This time, it's a text message, one that makes his face drain of color. He glances at it, then looks back at Zara, his eyes filled with guilt. I have to go." Zara stands rooted to the spot, fighting the lump in her throat. "Go," she says softly, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Go do your duty, Ahmed. Go to your world. And with that, she turns, walking out of the room, leaving behind a love that was never meant to be. Zara walks down the long hallway of the office, her footsteps echoing in the silence. Each step feels heavier than the last, her heart sinking with every inch she puts between herself and the man she thought she could have a future with. The conversation she just left behind feels like a lifetime ago, and yet the sting of Tariq's words lingers in her chest, making it hard to breathe. She reaches the elevator, her fingers hovering over the button. Her mind is a whirlwind of doubt, anger, and a deep sense of loss. She thought that maybe, just maybe, she could belong in Ahmed's world. But the reality is clearer now. His world isn't hers. It never was, and it never will be. The elevator doors slide open, and as she steps inside, she feels a surge of emotion welling up in her throat. The tears that she's been fighting to hold back finally spill over. She wipes them away quickly, embarrassed at the vulnerability she's showing, but the truth is, it's not just Ahmed's world that's closing off to her. It's hers too. She's been living in a dream, and now that dream is fading, piece by piece. The elevator finally reaches the ground floor, and Zara steps out, her heart feeling like it's been hollowed out. She walks briskly toward the exit, trying to avoid the curious glances from the staff, but it's impossible to ignore the weight of the situation. She can't stay here. She can't keep pretending that everything is okay. As she steps outside into the cool evening air, the noise of the city hits her like a wave. The streets are bustling with life, but Zara feels utterly alone. The buildings around her, the lights, the people, all of it feels foreign now, as if she no longer fits into the life she's tried so hard to make her own. Her phone buzzes in her pocket, but she doesn't bother looking at it. She knows it's probably Ahmed trying to reach her, but she doesn't want to hear it. She can't bear to hear him apologize again, can't bear to hear him say that things will be different this time, because she knows they won't be. As she walks, her mind still racing, Zara doesn't notice the figure approaching her from the corner of her eye. It isn't until a hand touches her shoulder that she freezes, her body tense with the shock of being interrupted. She turns slowly, her heart skipping a beat as she looks up into the face of someone she never expected to see. It's Layla. Zara's stomach twists at the sight of the woman who has been a constant presence in her life, even if only in the background. The woman who had once been so sure of her place in Ahmed's world. The woman who had once held his heart. What do you want, Layla? Zara's voice is cold, her emotions still raw from the confrontation in the office. Layla stands there, her expression unreadable, her eyes scanning Zara's face. I came to warn you, she says, her voice oddly calm. You're not the first woman who thought she could change Ahmed. Trust me, you won't be the last. Zara's breath catches in her throat. She wants to argue, wants to fight back, but instead, she stands frozen, the weight of Layla's words sinking in. She knows that there's a deeper truth behind them, something that neither she nor Ahmed can escape. Layla steps closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. You really think Ahmed is going to choose you over everything else? Over his legacy, his family, his future? You're nothing but a fleeting moment in his life. A distraction. Don't fool yourself into thinking you can change him. Zara's chest tightens, the hurt cutting deeper than she expected. Layla's words are like daggers, and yet there's a part of Zara that knows she might be right. Could she really change the course of Ahmed's life? Could she really be the woman he chooses? Before Zara can respond, Layla turns and walks away, leaving her standing in the middle of the street, lost in a storm of uncertainty. Zara stands there for a moment, watching as Layla walks away, her confident steps echoing in the distance. The weight of the words that had just been spoken presses heavily on her chest. A fleeting moment, a distraction, she repeats softly to herself, as though saying the words aloud might make them less true. But deep down, she knows Layla's words cut too close to reality. She turns and walks slowly down the street, her mind swirling with the remnants of everything that's happened. Ahmed's hesitation, the tension with his family, the distance she feels every time they share a quiet moment. Could Layla be right? Was she always just an illusion in Ahmed's world, something to be fleetingly admired before the real world came crashing back in? As the city's neon lights flicker around her, Zara feels herself slipping back into the loneliness she had tried so hard to escape. No matter how much she wanted to believe in the connection with Ahmed, the truth is starting to seep in. She doesn't belong here. She never did. She finally finds herself in a quiet park, a small oasis away from the chaos of the city. The park is empty, save for a few late-night joggers. Zara sits down on a bench, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She lets out a long, shaky breath, trying to clear her mind. The cool air of the night feels soothing, but it doesn't do much to ease the weight in her heart. She pulls out her phone, almost instinctively, and her thumb hovers over Ahmed's name in her contacts. Part of her wants to reach out, to explain, to ask him to fight for her, for them. But another part of her knows that it would only be a repeat of the same conversation. A cycle of promises and apologies that never seem to go anywhere. She's been down this road too many times before. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. It's a text from Ahmed. "Zara, please talk to me. I need you to understand. It's not what it seems. Can we meet tomorrow?" Zara stares at the message, her heart pounding in her chest. She wants to reply, wants to pour out everything she's been feeling. But a cold knot forms in her stomach as she realizes that no matter what he says, no matter how many times he promises it will be different, it won't change the core of who they are. She's just a momentary distraction in his world, something he'll leave behind when the time comes. She presses her lips together, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. She wants to tell him that it's too late, that she can't keep living in this limbo. But the words feel stuck, heavy in her throat. Instead, she simply types, "I need time, Ahmed. I can't do this anymore." She hits send, the finality of her message hitting her hard. As soon as the message is sent, a wave of exhaustion floods over her. She leans back against the bench, closing her eyes for a moment. She knows that what comes next will be painful, but it's the only way forward. Just as she's about to get up and leave the park, her phone buzzes again. This time, it's a call. The caller ID reads, "Ahmed." Her heart skips a beat. Part of her wants to ignore it, wants to keep walking and never look back. But another part of her knows that if she doesn't answer, this could be the end. Zara hesitates for a moment, her finger hovering over the screen. Finally, with a deep breath, she answers. "Zara," Ahmed's voice comes through, sounding more urgent than before. "I don't know how much longer I can do this. Please, we need to talk." Zara stands there, the weight of his words settling on her. This is it, the moment that could change everything. "Zara, please, I need you. I know I've messed up, but I can't lose you. Not now." Zara's throat tightens, the decision more difficult than ever. But deep down, she knows that whatever happens next will define who they are. She can't keep waiting for something that will never come. Zara stands frozen, the phone pressed to her ear, her heart hammering in her chest. Ahmed's voice is frantic, desperate even, but a part of her is no longer sure she believes in the promises he's trying to make. The words feel like the same ones she's heard before, repeated, hollow, with no true change beneath them. "I can't keep doing this," Zara says softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The words seem to take everything out of her, like a breath she'd been holding in for too long. "I can't keep living in the uncertainty, Ahmed. I'm not just someone you call when everything else falls apart. I need more than that." There's a long pause on the other end, and for a moment, Zara wonders if he's even heard her. But then, she hears his breath, short, uneven. "Zara, please don't say that. I'm trying. I'm fighting for us, for you. You mean more to me than anything." She shakes her head, though she knows he can't see her. "You don't get it, do you?" she says, her voice cracking with emotion. "Fighting for me would mean you wouldn't be letting your family, your business, and your legacy control everything about us. It would mean choosing me, choosing us over everything else." On the other end of the line, Ahmed's voice falters. "I never wanted it to be like this, Zara. I thought I could balance everything. But every time I try, it feels like I'm losing you." His words, while laced with sincerity, only serve to remind her of the inescapable truth. He's still trying to balance his world, a world that doesn't include her at its center. And as much as she wishes she could be the woman he chooses, the reality is too painful to ignore. She's just a chapter in a story that was never meant for her to stay in. "I need to move on, Ahmed," Zara says, her voice shaking with a quiet strength. "I can't keep putting myself second. I've been second for too long." The silence that follows feels like an eternity. Zara can almost hear the cracks forming between them, the invisible wall she's been trying to ignore now becoming impossible to avoid. Ahmed finally speaks, his voice low and resigned. "If you walk away now, I don't know if I can fix this. But I'll respect your decision. I'll let you go." Zara's heart aches at his words, but she knows deep down that this is the only way. She's been holding on to a dream that wasn't real, a dream where love and sacrifice could overcome everything. But the truth is that his world and hers are too different, and no matter how much they care for each other, they'll never truly be able to meet in the middle. "I'm sorry, Ahmed," she says, her voice thick with emotion. But this is goodbye. There's no response, just the sound of his breath catching in his throat. Zara closes her eyes, her heart shattering even as she knows she's doing the right thing. She ends the call, the finality of it ringing in her ears. For the first time in months, she feels a sense of peace wash over her, even as the pain of letting go lingers in her chest. As Zara begins to walk away, her heart heavy with the decision she just made, she hears a voice calling her name from behind. She turns quickly, her pulse racing, expecting to see Ahmed rushing after her. But instead, standing a few feet away, is someone else, someone she hadn't expected to see. It's Tariq. He looks different this time, calmer, more collected. His usual air of arrogance is gone, replaced with a sense of urgency. Zara, wait. Zara's breath catches in her throat. She doesn't know what to expect from him, whether he's here to tell her how she's made a mistake, or if something else entirely is about to happen. I need to talk to you, Tariq says, his voice strangely soft. It's about Ahmed. He's made a huge mistake, and so have I. Zara stops dead in her tracks, her heart pounding in her chest. Tariq's words hang in the air like a heavy fog, and she's left staring at him in confusion. What does he mean by that? He steps closer, his face serious, yet there's an underlying tension in his eyes that she can't quite decipher. Zara, please, he says, his voice almost pleading now. I know I've been a part of the problem. But Ahmed, he's not the man you think he is. Not anymore. He's changed, and so has the situation with his family. You need to hear this. Zara takes a cautious step back. Why are you telling me this? You've never cared about me, or about anything to do with me. Tariq winces at her words, but doesn't back down. I didn't care. Not until recently. Not until I saw what was happening between you two. You've always been on the outside, but I've seen the way Ahmed's looked at you. The way he's been torn between his duty and what he really wants. Zara's heart skips a beat at his words. Could it be true? Could Ahmed actually have been fighting for her this whole time? But before she lets herself believe it, she quickly shakes her head, trying to push the hope away. If he wanted me, he would have chosen me. He didn't, so, this is a waste of time. Tariq steps closer, his tone more earnest now. Zara, I can't speak for Ahmed, but I've seen enough to know that he's not the same man he was before you came into his life. He's been changed by you, and it's tearing him apart. Zara's breath catches in her throat. She wants to believe him. She wants to believe that Ahmed hasn't completely given up on them, that maybe he's been battling his own demons all this time. But she's been hurt too many times. She can't just walk back into the same cycle, can't risk giving him another chance if he's only going to choose everything else over her again. I've made my choice, Zara says, her voice quieter now, though still firm. I can't be a part of his world anymore. I can't keep waiting for him to make up his mind. Tariq nods slowly, as though he understands more than he's letting on. I get it, but you should know. There's more going on than you realize. There's something happening with Ahmed's family, something that could change everything. Zara looks at him, confused. What do you mean? Tariq hesitates, as if weighing his next words carefully. You need to know that there's a reason why Ahmed hasn't made a decision yet. His family has been controlling every aspect of his life, including this. His father has laid out a plan for his future that doesn't involve you. But Ahmed, he's not willing to follow that plan anymore. Not for the first time in his life, he's thinking for himself. And it's because of you. Zara feels a flicker of something deep inside her. Could it be true? But then the reality crashes back in. If that's true, why hasn't he told me? Why hasn't he fought for us? Why has he allowed his family to dictate everything? Tariq takes a deep breath, clearly struggling with his own internal conflict. Because it's complicated, Zara. It's not just his family. There's a whole lot of politics at play here, business, legacy, power. But I'm telling you now, Ahmed hasn't given up on you. Not yet, but if you walk away completely, he may never get the chance to make it right. Zara looks away, the weight of his words sinking in. She's been running away from the truth, from the very thing she's been avoiding all this time. Maybe Tariq is right, maybe there's still a chance for her and Ahmed, but the path forward is tangled with things she can't control. I don't know if I can trust him anymore, she admits, her voice barely a whisper. I don't know if I can trust anything about this life. Tariq nods. I understand, but you deserve the truth, Zara. You deserve the chance to make your own decision. Zara stands there in the quiet park, torn between the choices before her. Everything has led to this moment, the end of one chapter and the uncertain beginning of another. She wants to walk away, to leave everything behind and never look back, but something inside her is still holding on to the possibility that this could work. Just as she opens her mouth to speak, her phone buzzes again. It's a message from Ahmed. I need to see you. I can't wait any longer. Let's meet tomorrow, please. Zara stares at the message, her hand trembling slightly as she reads the words. Her heart races, a mix of hope and fear flooding her. This could be it, the moment where everything changes. But will it be enough? Can she trust him, or is this just another empty promise? Zara stares at the message from Ahmed, her breath catching in her throat. I need to see you. I can't wait any longer. Let's meet tomorrow, please. His words hang there on her screen, echoing in the quiet night air. For a moment, everything feels still, like time has frozen and she's suspended in that one moment of uncertainty. She knows she should feel relief, perhaps even excitement, but instead, there's a heaviness in her chest. The question that has been nagging at her for days now rises again. Is it worth it? She's been here before, torn between the pull of love and the crushing weight of reality. She's seen this cycle play out, over and over, and part of her fears that no matter how much she hopes, no matter how much she wants to believe in Ahmed's words, it will all end in disappointment. Tariq's voice cuts through her thoughts. You should go. If you want this, if you think there's even a chance, you need to give him one last chance. But remember, you have to decide what you're willing to fight for. Zara looks up at him, her heart still racing, her mind a jumble of emotions. She hasn't had the courage to face the truth until now. The truth that, deep down, she's afraid to let go of Ahmed, even though his world seems so far from hers. She's afraid that if she lets go, she might lose something she'll never find again. I don't know if I can trust him, Tariq, she admits, her voice thick with the vulnerability she's been hiding for so long. I don't know if I'm strong enough to keep going back and forth, hoping that he'll choose me when it's convenient for him. Tariq watches her with a level of understanding that surprises her. You don't have to keep fighting for a man who can't choose you. But don't close the door just yet. If you feel something, if you think there's still a chance, then at least hear him out. Zara takes a deep breath, looking down at her phone again. The message from Ahmed still glows on the screen, like an invitation to a future she's not sure she's ready to embrace. Zara's thumb hovers over the screen, her finger trembling slightly as she types a reply. She wants to say something, anything, to end the uncertainty that has been gnawing at her for days. But she can't just give in to her emotions. She needs to be certain. She needs to know that Ahmed is ready to fight for her as much as she's ready to fight for them. With a deep breath, she begins to type, I'll meet you tomorrow. But this time, it has to be different. No more games. She hesitates before hitting send, the weight of the words settling in her chest. She knows this is it, the moment where everything changes. Either Ahmed will prove that he's ready to choose her, or she'll finally walk away for good. The message is sent. The finality of it hits her all at once. She's made her choice. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps breaks the silence. Zara turns, startled, and sees a figure walking toward her. It's not Tariq. It's not anyone she recognizes at first. The person's silhouette is faint in the dim light, but as they come closer, Zara's heart skips a beat. It's Ahmed. He's standing there, just a few feet away, his gaze locked onto her. The raw emotion in his eyes is unmistakable. He's been waiting for her answer, just as she's been waiting for his. Zara feels her breath catch in her throat as their eyes meet. She can't speak, can't move. All the words she's been holding back, the questions, the fears, the hopes, are now stuck in her chest, unable to escape. She doesn't know if she's ready for this. She doesn't know if she's ready for whatever he's about to say. Ahmed steps closer, his voice quiet but determined. Zara, Before he can finish, she holds up her hand, stopping him. She needs answers, real ones this time. Not promises, not excuses. The uncertainty she's carried for so long is finally catching up with her, and she can't keep living in this in-between place. Tell me, Ahmed, she says, her voice firm but trembling, what are you willing to give up for me? For us? Because it can't be the same as before. He pauses, his expression shifting as though the weight of her words hits him hard. And then, with a deep breath, he says the words that will change everything. I'm willing to give up everything, for you. Zara's heart skips a beat, but this time, there's a cold knot of doubt in her chest. Will he follow through, or will this just be another empty promise? Zara stands there, her breath shallow, as Ahmed's words echo in her mind. I'm willing to give up everything, for you. They sound sincere, filled with emotion, but Zara is no longer sure if words are enough. She's been hurt before, by promises that were never followed through, by the crushing weight of expectations that were too heavy to bear. This time, she can't afford to fall for the same empty assurances. She takes a step back, shaking her head, trying to steady her racing thoughts. Ahmed, you don't understand, she says, her voice wavering. It's not about what you're willing to give up. It's about what you've already given up. You've been letting your family, your business, and everything around you dictate who you are for so long. How do I know you're ready to choose something real? Ahmed's face falls as he listens to her. For a moment, he looks defeated, as though the weight of her words has cracked something inside him. He takes a deep breath, his gaze never leaving hers. I haven't known how to choose, he admits quietly, his voice raw with emotion. For so long, I've been torn between my duty and my heart. But you're right, I've been letting everything else control my decisions. And I can't do that anymore. Zara's heart aches at his words, but she's still not convinced. She's spent too many nights wondering if he would ever really choose her, if the life they could build together was worth the pain of uncertainty. She doesn't want to get her hopes up, only to have them dashed again. The thought of letting herself believe in him again feels like a gamble she's not sure she's willing to take. Zara looks away, her hands trembling slightly as she folds her arms across her chest. I don't know if I can keep doing this, Ahmed. I don't know if I can keep waiting for you to make up your mind. You've had so many chances, and every time, you've let me down. You've let us down. There's a pained look in Ahmed's eyes as he steps closer, but she doesn't move. She can feel the pull of his presence, the magnetic connection that has always been there, but this time, it's not enough. She can't let herself be swept up in the emotion of the moment again. She needs action, not promises. Please, Zara, Ahmed says softly, his voice cracking with rawness. I know I've made mistakes. But I'm asking you to trust me. Trust that I'll fight for us, for you. I'm ready to let go of everything that's been holding me back. If you give me one more chance, I will show you that I can be the man you need me to be. Zara's heart flutters at his words, but doubt lingers in the pit of her stomach. Can she really trust him this time? She's been through this cycle before, his promises, his apologies, his hesitations. And each time, she's been the one left to pick up the pieces of her broken heart. Zara feels her heart tug with the intensity of Ahmed's gaze, but the doubts still swirl in her mind like a storm she can't escape. She wants to believe him. She wants to believe that this time, he will choose her, choose them. But the scars from the past are still fresh, and she knows that if she gives in now, she risks everything. She opens her mouth to speak, to say something that will either break them apart or bring them closer together, but before she can, a voice interrupts them from behind. Ahmed. Zara freezes, her eyes snapping to the figure emerging from the shadows. It's a familiar voice, one she hasn't heard in what feels like forever. Her breath catches in her throat as she recognizes the person standing before them. It's Layla. Her presence seems to fill the park, her gaze cold and unwavering as she steps into the light, her eyes flicking between Zara and Ahmed with an almost calculating look. I think it's time we all had a little talk, Layla says, her voice smooth, but with an edge that makes Zara's skin crawl. Zara's stomach drops, and for the first time in a long time, she feels a wave of panic rise in her chest. What is Layla doing here? What does she want? Ahmed's face pales slightly as he turns to Layla, his expression hardening. What are you doing here, Layla? Layla steps closer, her lips curling into a faint, almost sinister smile. I think we all have a few things to clear up, don't we? Zara stands frozen, her eyes locked on Layla as the woman steps into the space between her and Ahmed. The tension in the air is thick, and the weight of everything Zara has been holding inside crashes down on her. What is Layla doing here? She wonders, the fear of losing Ahmed creeping into her thoughts once more. Layla gives a slow, deliberate smile as she looks at both of them. Her presence, once so familiar to Ahmed, now feels like a shadow over everything Zara has worked to believe in. I think it's time we had this conversation, don't you think? Layla's voice is calm, but there's an undercurrent of something sharp beneath the smooth tone. Ahmed takes a deep breath, his face hardening as he looks at Zara. Zara, Before he can continue, Layla cuts in, her eyes narrowing. You should have chosen her a long time ago, Ahmed. But now, it's too late. The truth is out. Zara's heart skips a beat. The truth? What truth? But before she can react, Layla steps back slightly, her expression changing to one of finality. Zara stands there, confused but resolute. She knows this moment will define everything. She can no longer keep living in the uncertainty. She's given enough of herself to this relationship, to the dreams that never came true. She's learned that the most important thing is to choose herself, no matter how painful it is. I've heard enough, Zara says, her voice steady but laced with the quiet strength she's been building. I'm done, Ahmed. I'm done fighting for something that wasn't meant for me. I deserve more than this. She turns to leave, her footsteps echoing in the silence as she walks away from the two of them, from a life she thought could be hers. The sound of the night around her feels oddly peaceful, like the calm after a storm. And in that moment, Zara knows she's doing the right thing. She exits the park, walking away with her head held high, ready to face the world on her own terms. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journey with Zara, Ahmed, and Layla as they navigated love, choices, and the complexities of relationships. If you've been following the story, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think will happen next for Zara? What choices do you think Ahmed should make? If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exciting stories like this. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care and keep following your heart.